My buddy and I saw Jay and Silent Bob, the reboot. So we're going to try to do a review about it this week. Oh my, oh dear. If you haven't seen it, don't. Just don't. Remember Kevin Smith as he was, and keep that memory. If SJWs got on YouTube, it would reduce their swollen egos very fast. Twitter is a safe space. YouTube isn't exactly the Wild West, but it's not an echo chamber. It is a harsher proving ground. If you don't believe that, read some of my comments. It's a harsher proving ground than other forms of stuff because people are just not shy about expressing themselves, which is cool. Which is great. They don't. There's no filter on a lot of these comments. It's a harsher environment than other forms of social media like Facebook and stuff because it requires a greater investment of time for the viewer. You interact with the tweet in maybe 6 seconds, but you might watch 6 minutes of a 12-minute video, or at least that's what this audience does. But that means you have to hold someone's interest for 6 minutes, which is not as easy as it sounds. Typically, SJWs do not do well at things that require effort, but YouTube teaches you the harsh reality of your place in the hierarchy of the pack. I saw this first 2 minutes of Donnie Cates' live stream. I watched it at normal speed and listened to it. That's all I could take. That's all I could watch. Literally 2 minutes. I couldn't. You find out for yourself. He has 1,000 followers. Donnie Cates. Gail Simone has 2,000. Why? Well, go watch and find out. They are both unwatchably bad. The only saving grace is that Donnie's wife is, I assume that's his wife, is very pretty. But they both sound like developmentally disabled millennials? I don't know. I wonder if EVS is jealous of Donnie's hair. EVS may look like a cancer victim, but at least he has microphone skills. That's something about Comicsgate. There are a lot of very talented people in Comicsgate. Actually, a surprising number of talented people have migrated over to Comicsgate, both on the comic creative side and on the YouTube side. Right now, there are a lot of people in... Oh, I should have looked at Red Gaze's book. I should have that in the background. There are a lot of people in Comicsgate because he's one of the very talented people. He's got a lot of microphone skills. There are a lot of people in Comicsgate, but they're kind of off on in their own corner when, in my opinion, they need to be teaming up and live streaming with each other. There are dozens of Comicsgate live streams, but they need to get out of their safe space and go on other people's shows. It's like they're shy or something. It's weird. It's like high school with all the cliques, misspelled, of who won't sit at whom's table. There are so many weird interconnected relationships and squabbles, 75% of which are EVS's fault, if I'm just being honest. The thing about live streams is it's okay to let the co-host or the audience lead it in different directions. It's YouTube. You don't have to be rigid, which I also misspelled. This effect is just because this Kindle is falling apart. It was a $40 Kindle to start with. It's probably time for an upgrade, but I do like the boob effect, the jiggling boobs. That's kind of nice. Anyway, guys in mainstream comics are terrified of stepping out of line and upsetting people. Now I can't stop watching it. Like Mags Visaggio, because then CBR will write an article about it and they think that they will get canceled. It's very difficult to cancel someone who's making money for you. Just tell them to eat a fat dick. If they do manage to cancel you, just come on over to Comicsgate. I get a feeling that not everybody in mainstream comics is an SJW. Many of them are just keeping their heads down because they know who controls the comic industry. But find your balls. There is money in Comicsgate. Go where the money is. That's not rocket. Damn, those boobs are jiggling. She's a cutie pie. He does have hair supremacy, though. It's starting to recede a little bit. Here is the thing about these people. Mags, Cena, Joe Glass, Gail Simone, and the rest. They all can write, but they choose not to. In a post-China environment, fuck China, anything under 30,000 should just be canceled. It's just wasting space on the shelf, and it sets a bad precedent that merit doesn't matter. These people all need to realize that they are charity cases. They don't know their place in the pack, and it's confusing them, and it confuses their followers. These charity cases have an inflated sense of importance. They have thousands of Twitter followers, but for some magic reason, that doesn't translate into sales. And really, at some point, don't you do some self-reflection? I mean, at some point, you step on the scale and you see you're 300 pounds, you think, maybe the things I'm putting into my mouth are contributing to this 300 pounds. Maybe I should eat less. Maybe I should eat more vegetables. I've heard about vegetables. At some point, you have a come to Jesus moment. It doesn't matter if it's food or drinking or selling comic books. And I'm not saying you think I'm going to be a jerk off and say, oh, they can't. Oh, I'm not following Kwanzaa. I'm going to have to get on that. They can't sell comics as you get into a new industry. No, because a lot of them can. They just are kind of like tied down with these anchors of ideology. And, it's one thing to say, oh, is your ideology any good? Has it been proven and tested in the real world? Oh, no, it sucks. It sucks balls. It results in like hundreds of millions of people getting killed. And the weird thing is a lot of these LGBT people are, they're socialists and communists. Socialism and communism have not typically been kind to LGBT and women. So it's like if they converted to Islam or something. Both communism and Islam are very, very hard on women and gay rights. They're either exited from this mortal coil, or they're really repressed. So, but it's like they have this. I'm mad at Daddy, and Daddy is capitalism and merit and a republic, and they know. I don't know. It's like to sell something requires a lot of effort, and they just don't want to put the effort in when they could. Joe Glass, the Pride, yeah, you could. That could sell. That could have sold, but you're going to have to write it in such a way that it sells, which sounds so obvious, but I don't know. I feel like if you talk to these people one-on-one, they would be honest with you, and like you could get through to them one-on-one just by showing them facts and stats. And anyway, but these charity cases, they've got followers who are mentally ill kids or adults who are emotionally children who are able to exert pseudo pressure. They don't actually buy many comics because Mags, Cena, Joe Glass barely sell. They barely sell 1,000 a month. So they can't really hurt you, but they can start a Twitter harassment campaign that Rich Johnston and the rest will whine about in Signal Boost. Rich Johnston, what a piece of work he is. And I've had some interaction with him on YouTube. He's the guy who kind of got me started on this path a little bit when he said something about Immortal Hulk. Because he thought, he's on YouTube, he's just a very small channel. He said he thought Immortal Hulk was one of the best books out here. Are you kidding me? Are you legitimately a retarded person? Or are you just so blinded by ideology? Anyway, he's a whiner, and he is blinded by ideology. The best way to deal with this type of stuff is to ignore it and keep selling to your core audience. Ethan, make the boobs bigger. If SGM just muted 100 of these childish weirdos, he would never even have to read their nonsense. Or just use Twitter for promotion and never actually read it. The thing these soy people don't understand is, why Kim and Kim or Ghosted in LA sell so poorly. They sell poorly because people don't like the stories that soy people tell, or they don't like the way that they tell them. Oh, like you could do better? Yes. Literally 90% of the people in CG could do better. And now that sounds sort of obvious, but SJWs tell stories not in accord with reality, or not even in accord with Norse or Greek mythology. They tell stories based on Marxism, which is based on parasites corrupting an ordered system. The Fourth Age is better at this type of stuff, but he's almost too smart for YouTube. Al Ewing isn't telling a classic story, he's pushing propaganda, anti-white, Christian male, etc. He had good sales, at least in the beginning, before the propaganda got too silly. All these people think they're being edgy by subverting expectations, but they aren't capable of being edgy because they are left-wing guys in a left-wing industry writing for left-wing people. Being edgy means rebelling against something real. SJWs in comics would have to be conservatives to do any rebelling. To be a liberal in a liberal industry is the status quo. There's nothing to rage against when they control the machine. If they really wanted to rebel, they would have to do a comic about Boko Haram kidnapping girls to be child brides. Oh no, you didn't. The thing with SGWs and comics is they carefully sidestep and ignore things like Islamic fundamentalism or a corrupt communist media to focus on strawmen. Think about Ignited by Wade and Kwanzaa. It's vaguely about the Second Amendment and school violence. The truth is that there is more violence in Chicago than there is in all the schools in America. So why doesn't Wade cover that issue? Because Wade obviously has an agenda, and you know what it is. If you want to know how insane comics have got, a few months ago I showed a comic that had a terrorist at an airport. Guess what color the terrorist at the airport was? Oh, but we're subverting expectations. No, you're subverting reality. They write stories that people don't want to read, so their sales are very low. But they have thousands of Twitter followers, so they're a little confused. Joe Glass is a writer for hire. Okay, it's interesting that you advertise that. Are you trying to say that you need work? Why do you need work, Joe? Yeah, it was that last time claiming he didn't know about Doug. The first thing I thought was BS, not just because everyone let him know last time, but because he'd specifically had a talk with you. I realized then that it was a ploy. I'm sorry he used you like that. Mags says, me too. I'm really angry and really hurt. And then J Money comes in and says, any crimes, it's okay to be stiffed and ignored when you're a lunatic. You know that, yes? Thank you, J Money. J_Money Mike. I'll give you I can't follow anyone right now because YouTube gave me another 3 days. Twitter gave me another 3 days off, and they literally gave me 3 days off 2 weeks ago, so I'm probably not long for this account. The inexorable word nerd once more onto the breach. Pearl clutching, constantly waving direct message conversations for self-validation, and here is the patty back click. See, that's how you spell click correctly. I'm retarded. Weaving dog shit into a security blanket. Joe, block me too. You're the only one in the thread left, you scheming line vampire. Oh my God. Comicsgate light prevails in blackest night. Hashtag Comicsgate. They're done and I love it. Hail Comicsgate. I love. Jeez, the people in Comicsgate are the funniest motherfuckers on earth. We are going to just dance on their grave. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. You want to hit me up, Bianca Zombie 602 at gmail.com to edit your comic, your story, whatever. I can do it privately, or I can make a video about it publicly. Up to you. Or if you want to send me hard copy, hit up my P.O. box. But let me know so I don't have to, so it doesn't just sit there. All right, guys. Maybe I shouldn't have done that masculine Mags voice. I'm sorry about that. That was in bad taste. If I could edit that out, I would, but I'm not going to remake the whole video. So I do apologize for that. That was dumb now that I think about it.